Hi, myself Barkha Patel. We are group number 9, and here we are presenting news article sentiment analysis for our assignment number 3. Next slide, please. Here is content list in which we are starting with our introduction, and then we will go ahead step by step. Here I am Jayavardhan, both are developers, whereas Muzammil and Riddhi playing role of a data analyst and business analyst respectively. Here is our flow chart. First we did web scraping, then we store our data in cloud. After that connect with the Power BI and then make visualization. And here is the tool which we are used uh, for this assignment, such as MongoDB, VS Code, Flask, Python, CSS, JS, HTML, and
Okay, now I'll explain about the web scraping and the sentimental analysis that we have done here. My name is Jayavardhan Singh. So sentimental score is basically the algorithms that is used to assess the tone of a transcript on a spectrum of positive, negative, neutral, or a compound. So if there is any input text data, the sentiment analysis will returns a three tuple of polarity score percentage. So it provides, this is basically referred to as Vader's sentiment compound metric. So it ranges from -1 to +1. And so if the value is greater than 0.05, it is considered as positive. If the value is less than negative 0.05, it is considered as negative, and otherwise it is neutral. So basically it's a total package of measuring the positive, negative, or neutral sentiment of any input text data. So this was uh, s- s- obviously a Python. It runs in Python. It is a Python library which, as you can see, it returns four values, sorry, positive, neutral, negative, and compound. So what we are doing here actually is we are taking the data from different news sections, and we are going to scrap the data of those feeds, news feeds of different news feeds, and we are going to analyze their sentiment in this assignment as mentioned. So I'll simply explain the code that I have done here. So of course, I have taken NLTK, feed parsers, and pandas. I've imported these, and I imported stop words also. I'll explain what are stop words. So there's a I'll just try to run the code here. So now what I'm doing here is, now that I've imported NLTK, I'll install Vader sentiment, and because it is all stored in the NLTK library of Python. So let me just try to import it. Okay. Yeah, it's done. It's done. It's already satisfied because I've already done it uh, before. So now that we have imported our Vader sentiment analysis, these are our news URLs that we are going to use here. First is New York Times, Daily Mail, CBC, CTV. So let me just try to run it here. Sorry. Okay, so we got our news, we got our feed. These are XML files because these are the URLs for XMLs. So RSS and XML files. Next, we'll run to store this, and then in feed description, as you can see, our data has been scrapped. So these are the top 5 entries of that. So now I'll try to get the full description of it. So this is the full description of all the top 5 headings of the news. Now, stop words are basically the English words that we use in our general library, such as I, me, my, myself, we are. There are so many stop words. It is also a built-in library in Python. So we basically try to avoid these stop words and split our description to avoid these stop words and try to find the sentiment of that with the um, sentiment analysis. Vader sentiment analysis. So as you can see, there are no stop words in this sentences, and you can see um, our description is quite well cleaned from this by uh, s- removing the stop words. Now I'll try to replace um, simple sentences. I'll try to avoid commas and simple dash, which is there. Like as you can see, this is a comma in the 2000. I'll try to remove that because I don't want any of these to uh, just simply ruin my result. So there are 10 objects here in our news items here. And see, this is now we are moving to a polarity score. So as I have imported the library already here, sentiment intensity analyzer. So I am going to use it here after I've cleaned my data. So polarity scores, I'm going to store that in the polarity score. This is just an example that Sunday would be amazing. So, see, when I've run these sentences, I got the output as this is negative. It's 0.44% neutral. It's some 0.559 positive, and it is so compound. So what I'm gonna do here is whatever the feed description that I've stored here, I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna run that polarity scores into this feed description and store it into a list. So let's try to run here. Okay, we got a result. It's basically, so these are the, of course, top five entries. First news is 0, point minus 0.659, and so on, so on, so on. So now I'm gonna contact these results and I'm gonna generate the output here. All right, we got our output, and this is what we have actually found. So the first news, so this is what our table looks like now. So by this point, I have completely extracted the data from a website and created a table using the help of a Vader sentiment analysis and stored the table here. Now I'm gonna just change these titles. So this is what our output looks like. Now I'm gonna add one more column here which shows result, and I'm gonna see if if the values that are mentioned here, if score is greater than or equals to zero point 0.1, it's positive, else negative, if and else neutral. So this is what I've done here. So this is where we have got a result. Yeah, see, negative, 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 positive, positive. And now we can just store the CSV file if important that. So the main point is we got a results in the table. Now all we need to do is store it into the database. So this is the same code. Now I'll hand over to Muzammil to store the data into the database.
Uh, Hello, sir. My name is Muzammil, and right now I'm explaining the data, how to get data and import that data into MongoDB. Here I have used that DEF data shell, data frame function, that data frame function, data date record, and here client MongoDB, client Py Mongo, no MongoDB. Here the string that I got from my MongoDB, and this is the client name news, and this is the database our name sentiment. Uh, Here uh, I'm going to open the MongoDB where you can see that. Uh, Connect. Uh, here, here you can see all the data that I got from that here all the data. And now I'm going to explain that uh, MongoDB to Power MongoDB to uh, MongoDB to
Muzammil, your voice is breaking.
Sorry about that. And here I'm going to connect MongoDB to Power BI. Here, this is the ODBC data. First, we have to go to administration and add data. Um, Here, we have to select ANSI driver. Click OK. Now, we have to provide connection parameter, and then we go to Power BI desktop, uh, Power BI desktop, and select get data. Where that get data, we have to find ODBC, and then we have to give the name of our data source and click OK, and then click OK. And in the navigation panel, we have to select our database and then click OK. Now I'm going to handle this to Riddhi. She will explain remaining of the content.
Hi, it's Riddhi Chauhan, and I'm going to explain a visualizations here. We have completed visualizations in Power BI, and there are 4 visualization. The first one is comparison of neutrality of 4 news channels. The second one is comparison of negativity. The third one is comparison of positivity, and the fourth one is comparison between all 3 aspects like negativity, positivity, and neutrality. So we can see that daily news is having highest neutral news, and after that news NYT is having second highest neutral news, and news CBC and CTV are following both of them. In negativity, we can see that daily news is also having highest negative news, and it is followed by NYT, CBC, and CTV respectively. For positive comparison, we can see that here also daily news is having highest positive news, and followed by NYT, CBC, and CTV. And in comparison of all of this part of news, we can see that we can see that negative negative news of daily news is highest in all of them. Also, we have another visualization on page 2. That visualization shows that in CBC News, the CBC News is having highest neutral news, that shows like 14.96 of news, that means 78.72% of all news, and percentage of positive and negative news are 10.41% and 10.87% respectively. For CTV News, we can see that neutral news is having 80.8%, and it is followed by positive and negative with 12 and 7.2%. For daily news, we can see that daily news is having neutral news with the percentage of 79.98, and it is followed by positive news and negative news with 9.78% and 10.24%. And for NYT, we can also see here that positive neutral news is highest with 76.27%, and positive and negative has 10.36% and 13.37% respectively. So from this visualization, we can see we can from this visualization we can say that daily news is having highest proportion of neutral, negative, and positive news than other three news channels. Uh, Thank you.
Okay. So we have taken the news of the health sector. So we were comparing the news of different health sectors from all the four news channels that we have took. So these were all the health news that you have saw in the visualization. And this is what we can conclude, that daily news has the higher proportion of neutral, negative, and positive news than all the other three channels like CTV, CBC, and New York Times. This is the conclusion. Um, so I think that is all from our group. Thank you so much, sir, for watching the video.